Hello, everyone. Diana Rankin here with our weekly questions that you've sent in and that Philip answers for us. And this is, let me see here, this is the 38th week of 2021, and it is the week of the 19th through the 25th. Whew, my goodness. I can't believe September's almost over already. This year has in some ways been very slow, but in other ways it has gone zip. The summer's over. My gosh, it's fall equinox. It's here. I'm seeing some leaves changed. Well, good morning, beautiful Annika. So good to see you. And she sends love and hearts to everyone. Our message this week I found really interesting. And I love the questions that you send in. We've got some really exciting ones coming up in the queue. So this week, we'll get to that in a moment, but I want to also tell you, for those of you who are not familiar with this site, Judith, hello. Leaves changing. Yes, you're up. Your leaves changing here. I don't know that they're changing. You're too far south. Are the leaves changing where you are or not? But where I am up here in Ohio, the leaves are starting to change. Now we've had really warm weather, and for it to just get one of those gorgeous falls, it does take a pretty good frost to bring that out. So we haven't had that. We might get it. It's going to cool down next week, so we'll see. But welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to get to the question in a moment. I always ask that you send in questions, and even though they may have some personal reference to you, I ask that they be a universal question for our whole audience. And we're hearing that Judith said they do not change here. It is eternal summer. She's in the South in the US. That's what I was thinking, but it's been a long time since I've been down that far south. I haven't traveled for a couple of years because of COVID. We're into our second year. I am starting to do some sacred circles in person again. I've got one Columbus coming up, and then another one in Warren. And also we are in October, we'll do a sacred circle on another Zoom sacred circle. And I'm going to keep doing those at least every other month for now. And if there's enough interest, we'll go to every month. But right now, for those of you who are out of the country or out of state or out of reach of where I am, please join us on the Zoom Sacred Circle. We're also going to get a message, as you know, from Phillip, the Master's Book of Answers by Phillip, who is my spirit guide. And we just opened any page and there's our message. Each page has a different wisdom on it. So we'll get to that in a few moments here. But let's get into our question. And if you have questions, you can email them to me. My email's right below. Also, if you want to know more about the sacred circles, that information is right below as well. And you want to know more about me, that information's right below. So thank you. I'm so grateful for all of you. You can also post the questions in the comments, and I will get to those as well. Some people have called me with a question, and I said, that's great. Pick up the phone, especially if you want to schedule a session. That's the easiest way to get hold of me. My phone number is on the website. But for the questions, I kind of ask you to write them down, unless they're very short, and then I can write them down on the phone. But if they're a little more involved, please write them down for me and send them to me in the comments below or by email. Okay, here's our questions. Actually, there are two, but they're related. The question this week is, do psychics have areas of expertise? And how do you know which psychic is best for you if you desire to get a reading? So here's the answer. All people have areas of expertise. This, of course, includes psychic readers, or those who use that label. There are those, such as the ones we work with, who are teachers. They offer guidance. They do not dictate. I found that interesting because I think of Phillip as being my teacher. I think of Phillip as being my main guide. When I'm working with clients, the educator comes out. I like to give homework. I also have a tendency to, we do processes, not just talking about what could happen. And so I found that interesting. And I also found that Phillip says we, because I always think of Phillip as being singular. But I notice more and more I'm hearing from we. So I think there's a whole council working with us. Okay, let's go on. They are able to see the past and the future. Now he's talking about those he calls teachers, who are psychic readers, teachers. They are able to see the past and the future and are able to suggest which path to follow that helps you to heal and become of service to all, thus fulfilling your soul's mission in this lifetime. And I want to stop there just for a moment and explain. We all, when in spirit world, we all chose a mission that we wanted to fulfill. And that has to do with healing. In my particular case, one of the things I chose, the big one, was the abandonment script. And that means I have at least one parent who was not there physically, and one or more parents I see in the abandonment script as not being there physically or emotionally for the child. And in my case, the father was not there. And then in part-time, the mother was there, and but only part-time because I lived, fortunately, with my grandparents. And my grandmother was the loving influence in my life. My mother was the one who said, good grades, do better. So I had both coming in, and I'm grateful for both. So whatever script, whatever issue we chose, that's our soul's mission. That's our service. And so my service has been to really understand that there's a spiritual mission and help people find theirs. That's been a big part of my life. And I do that through words, spoken and written. So I've been very fortunate. And usually there are many that may know their soul's mission when they're very young, but it's quite often that we really don't get into it until we're a bit more mature, shall I say. All right. And wherever you are in your life, you're right where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. So go easy with yourselves. Okay, Phillip goes on to say, in part of the guidance, the teacher psychic reader will provide insight into why any walls are before you and ways to help you remove them and become joyful. These readers are often helpful in a crisis, when you feel stuck, or when you feel ready to move to a higher level of spiritual and human development. A different type of reader may be one who does not need to take you to a deeper level or explain why an issue is in your life. Let us examine the difference. Suppose you are seeking your right livelihood as opposed to looking for a job. The teacher reader will help you manifest the right employment that will also help you fulfill your soul's mission or lead to it. The reader will help you find employment that may be satisfying only the needed income. He's calling the teacher reader and the reader. So the teacher reader is the one who, like, don't go to unless you're really ready to do the deeper work. And if you just want to know some easier things, then go to the reader, not the teacher reader. Okay, here we go on. As another example, let's say you think your spouse is seeing someone else, cheating on you. The reader would answer and perhaps even tell you with whom. The teacher would first ask about you. What is in your life that would cause this? For example, what is the issue that is crying out for healing beneath what you see as the issue? The teacher might notice that one or more parents were not present for you as a child. This is the abandonment script we're getting to, either physically or emotionally. This led to an abandonment issue, which the teacher will then help you heal. As you can see, we have put psychic readers into two broad categories. Within these two larger categories are several other categories. There are those who mainly work on healing the body, others mainly heal the emotions, and others are heart healers, which is where it all comes together. There are those who guide you and those who tell you to do as they say. How do you know to whom to go for a psychic reading? This depends on what you want in and from a reader. For example, If you want someone to tell you what direction to take, then you should choose a reader who is not also the teacher. The teacher will not take your power of decision away, but guide you to heal the underlying issues so you can make the decision that is best for you. The teacher reader is not always the right choice for everyone, just as the reader is not the right choice for everyone. The right reader is the one whose energy aligns with yours. When you create the intent to have a reading and have some clarity as to the purpose you have for wanting a reading, the right person will come to you. This name may be given to you by a friend, or you may find it while scrolling on the electronics. There is truth in the phrase that like attracts like, so the psychic reader who is on the level of your need will appear. Well, as a reader and a coach, and I hope my clients are all listening, I found that all interesting. And for years, I've thought, I'm not the reader for everyone. And I didn't really examine it too deeply, but this kind of answers it all for me. So thank you for the questions. I'm really grateful. I learned so much from the questions that you ask. Let's get our message this week, shall we? Now, if you hear the same page that I say, because we have to say left or right page, because that's our message. And if you hear the same message, the same page I hear, if you hear left and I hear left, then our intuition is just in sync. If you hear, and that's the message for all of us. If you hear the opposite page, that's a message that you need to pay very close attention to, because that's a message that you need to hear. So here we go. We're just going to open to right there. Okay, I'm hearing right. So if you heard right, that's the message for everyone. Our intuition's in sync. Here we go. You can be who you want to be, but first you have to know who you want to be. I'm going to reread that. You can be who you want to be, but first you need to know who you want to be. It always surprises me how it goes along so beautifully with our question of the week. And doesn't that go along? If you're looking for the simple answer, you need just the psychic reader. If you're looking for the deeper answers and want to figure out who you are, you need the teacher reader. So remember, you could be who you want to be, but first you have to know who you want to be. This is for everybody, this message. Now we're going to read the left side, and that's the message. If you heard left, that's your message. And I do have one client who tells me she always hears the opposite side, and she said it always is the message I needed to hear. So I find that fascinating. Here we go. Life is not a game of chance. Life is a game of law and order. It is up to you to learn the law, and the order will follow. I'm going to read that again. Life is not a game of chance. Life is a game of law and order. It is up to you to learn the law, and the order will follow. Well, there we have our messages for the week. My friends, I am so grateful that you joined us today, and I love Annika and Judith that you've been live with us. I'm going to try to keep it, if the internet seems to be a little bit better earlier on Fridays, so I'm going to try to keep it around this time if possible. And also I am starting to do some in-person things with mask on in the audience, and I'm wearing a mask as well. So a lot of times those are on Friday evenings, not always, but a lot of times. So I'm trying to come on a little bit earlier, like right around a late lunchtime or right after lunchtime, around 1 o'clock Eastern time. I can't always do that, but I'm going to do my best to try to keep it around that time for all of you. I thank you for being with me live today. I thank you for each and every one of you who watched this video. I love your comments. Thank you. And most of all, I ask, let's keep our world in love. Let's surround it. Let's concentrate on those areas where the leaders live and work, and really get them to pay attention to what the people need. Not what their egos are calling for, but what the people need. And we have a lot of disruption right now in the U.S., as you know. Hold us in your prayers. We're not the only country going through turmoil, but it's a pretty big country, and so it makes a lot of noise and a lot of energy. So thank you for the prayers you're holding for this country. The worldwide COVID, it's out of control. I don't see that changing yet. In fact, I think we're in for it to be a little bit worse before it eases up. So please do your part, wear your mask, get your vaccinations if you're able, and stay in love. Just stay in love. When you move into that fear, pull yourself back and remember there's love, there's fear. Which am I going to stay in? Which am I going to choose in this moment of time when the fear may be overtaking me? Recognize it and say, I'm choosing love. All right, my friends, thank you. Thank you, Judith, for the hugs and the kisses. Sending hugs and kisses out to all of you. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for receiving our love. Thank you for the love that you send to us. Daisy is hanging in there. Daisy dog. Inside, it's tough for her. Outside, she's bouncing around like a puppy. So, but every day with her is a blessing. We'll see. So thank you, my friends. Have a safe week, a healthy week, and a week filled with love. All right. And Judith, enjoy that eternal sunshine. We're getting fall up here. Get some photographs. It's not yet beautiful, but it's turning beautiful. We've had some great days. So thank you all. Until we meet again. I love you. I love you. I love you.